Okay, I'm going to show you how to make the book, show you how I made the book cover starting with 0, ending with success. I'm going to open my word processor, which is Pages, because I have a Mac. This is one of 3 computers that I work on, and each one has a little bit of variations because of the operating systems and the updated software. I'm going to go into Pages and I'm going to open a, oh, so that's a one that I had worked on previously. I'm going to open a new from template. I'm going to open a small poster. Move it over so you can see it better. Okay. To highlight things so that you can do stuff with it and manipulate it, you have to click on it. And when you click on it, these boxes come up. So you can see the little boxes come up every time you click on something. So I'm clicking on this picture box to highlight it so I can hit the delete key and delete it. And I'm going to do the same thing below with this picture right here. Delete that. I'm going to delete these words down here. Okay, I don't want those. I'm going to delete these words as well. I'm going to delete the 2009, and I'm going to delete this girls basketball banquet. Okay, this is what I'm going to work with, and I'm going to change this highlight to starting. I'm going to put a, actually, enter with. I'm going to highlight that and drag that so you can see the word with, and I probably need to make it about that big. I'm going to change the size of the text to 48, and I'm going to change color of this to words. So you turn it to green. I'm going to change the color of the word with to purple. Excuse me. And let's see. I like that box. I'm going to shrink down the box, and the reason that I shrink down these boxes is because we're going to layer these pictures and text boxes on top of each other. And in some cases we're going to have to group them together. So it's easier to group and ungroup things when the box is not too big, not too oversized. Alright, now I'm going to take this star, move it up, make it bigger. Do it again. I'm going to give it a whole bunch of points, and I'm going to, I don't know if you can see that blue dot right there in the middle of that circle part. By stretching that out, I expand that to get rid of the points so they're not so obvious. Now I'm going to click on the words, and I want to tilt them a little bit, so I'm going to hold down the command key, click and move with the mouse to turn it, and I'm going to add, let me do this first, move this up out of the way. Okay, I'm going to add a shape. I'm just going to be starting with 0. I'm going to make this look like a 0. And then I'm going to, in fact, let me do it this way. Let me change the color of that. Change that to color fill. And the color will be I don't know, dark blue maybe, lighter blue, lighter blue. And the opacity, it's a little dark, make it a little bit. I'm not liking that. I'm going to change that. leave that white, go up here, and while this is still highlighted, go up and hit the edit thing and duplicate that. I'm going to make it a little bit smaller this way, and a little bit smaller this way, and I'm going to change the color of it so it's noticeable, and I'm going to move it to make it look like a 0. Now it's got a shadow down here, so I'm going to take this shadow out by doing this, and that makes it look more like a 0. Maybe stretch this a little bit. And that's going to be my 0. Okay, now let's see, to make it look, well, we'll skip that for now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and overlay a text box with the word 0 in it. And I'll make that all caps. Oh. I've got to make that bigger. It's not big enough. And see what it looks like on a 48. Looks okay. Outside the box, then click the box to make it smaller. Oop, I'm moving it. I want to shrink it. There we go. Oop, too small. Okay, now center it. And fade it. Now, I'm going to lock this to this. I'm going to group this to the circle, the two colors. Okay, so first I select that, hold the command key, hit select that. So I got the both of the circles selected. And then I'm going to click over here with the command key still down, and I've got them all selected, and I'm going to group them together. And then drag the whole thing together. If I didn't do it that way, then they would all move individually, separately. Okay, so that's pretty much done so far. I'm just going to adjust some colors later. The text right here, I'm going to put the shadow here so it stands out more. I'm going to click on this circle that's kind of bumpy, and I'm going to change the background of that to a gradient, which will be a combination of two colors. I get to pick whatever colors I want, and we'll see. I'll just do a blue, and what else? And maybe a dark blue, pink, red. Okay, something like that. Something different. Now, as long as this box looks like it's indented in, like that, you can change those colors. When you do this and you click over here, you're not changing anything. Alright, let's see. Now, if you don't like, you want the orange on top instead of on the bottom, all you got to do is grab a hold of this wheel here and you move it around however you want it to show. Alright, now I don't think there's very much shadow here. I'm going to close this box to get this out of the way. Underneath this circle, I want it to look like it's a little bit above that blue background. So I'm going to there we go. Increase that shadow. Got it on 11 points right now. Alright, but I don't want it too dark, because if it's too dark and I print it out, it will, for one thing, it'll use a lot of ink, and for the other thing, it'll stand out. It'll be very dominating to the picture. So I'm going to lower that to around the 30% range, and then it's not as dominating. Now I can change the angle of that shadow by doing this. And that's just changes the light, the angle at which the light comes in. It tells you right over here, so you can make, you got a number you can work with if you want to make them all the same. And over here on this, I'm going to leave the star the same. I'm just going to change the color to a gradient also, and we'll stick with the same colors. Now I'm not going to put any text or anything in the star. I'm not going to change the points of it. And go down here and I'll change the color of this as well, the background, to a gradient. And put my mouse over top one of the corners, hold down the command key, click on the mouse, and turn the mouse however I want to position the box. And that's what I'm doing. Okay, now I'm going to move it up. Now, you can see when I move it up, I'm moving it up over the circle, but underneath the 0. Just for demonstration purposes, I want you to see what happens here. I'm going to click on the arrange, and then I'm going to send it backward. And when I do that, sometimes you have to do it several times. And look what happens. Now it's behind the 0 as it was, and it's behind this big 0 looking thing. Okay, and the shadow falls on it. That's the way I want it. But if I wanted to send, if I come up here and I hit send to back, it would actually go back behind this blue, dark blue background, and then you wouldn't see it at all. But you can do that with anything that you want to position. You just click on it, highlight it, and decide whether you want to move it forward or backward. It's like creating a layer. You're layering things. And let's see. Okay, so we got the color there. We're going to change this to ending with success. And we're going to make it bigger. This is a subtitle. We're going to make it a 36, a little bit smaller than the main title, which was a 48. And we'll move that up. Alright. Again, I'm going to make the box smaller. Over to the little blue line comes up to so that's centered. And I'm going to change the background of right here, this blue. But I won't be able to do that. When I click on it, you got these little X's over here, which shows that it's locked. You have them down here, and they're very faint and difficult to see. So what you have to do, but at least it shows that you tried to select the background. So you go up here to Arrange, and you click Unlock. Okay, now it's changed to a little box, and you can stretch that out. That's your background. You stretch that out. And I've stretched it out the top. Now I'm going to stretch it out the bottom. Okay. Now I'm not happy with the color of that, so I'm going to change that. It says image fill. I'm going to change that to a gradient also. Now all the shapes kind of blend with these colors. But let's see if I spin this disc around a little bit, if we can make that look different. That isn't too bad. Alright. I think I'll just leave it like that. And then down here, I will create another text box. And the text will say, again, this isn't exactly like the book, but this is how the book cover was made for the book. Okay, so we got that. Now we're going to click on the outside of it, click on the box, bring it down, stretch it out so the words will be one sentence long. We're going to push it out. Okay, we're going to click on the text, and we're going to center the text. We're going to make the text larger by highlighting it, and then let's see, let's try 24. '24 should be good, a little bit smaller than the subtitle. Now some of the words disappeared, so I'm going to click on the outside of the box, click on this, and drag it so they come back. Okay. I don't have any room for the name of the author, so I got to squeeze that in there somewhere. Get that like that. Create another text box. I'm doing all this in capital letters for just to demonstrate. Okay, make this a little bit bigger. Let's see, 24 might be good as well. Click outside the box, click inside the box. Oop. Drag it down, and right about there. Okay, let's see, let's move this down a little bit. Alright. And there you have it. That's your basically how you make your book cover. Now, what you're going to do, I'm going to change this background right here. I can unlock this. Arrange, ungroup, click on the blue circle, and I'm going to change that to, instead of a color fill, a gradient. And let me see what it looks like if I move those colors around. It'll look more like it's part of that. Right. There we go. Now let's just do it that way. Yeah. By doing it this way, it looks kind of like it's part of the background, but it's not. It's a separate coloring. Okay, so that's done. Now I got to regroup these again. Click on the Command key and click the mouse. Click on the Command key. Oh, gotta undo it here. Outside. Click on this inner circle, outer circle, with holding the Command key down and clicking, and then the 0, holding the Command key down and clicking, and then go up to Arrange and group them together. And they're stuck together and they're good. That way, if you move everything in this box, it all moves together. You got a shadow here. Maybe we can change the shadow on this a little bit. We'll change it to 11 points. We'll move it so it's similar to the other. We'll change the opacity to 30 as well. Then you could also come in here like this and click 30. Hit enter. And there's your shadow for that. I'm going to change the angle just a little bit. There we go. And you can add more. You can type inside this box if you want. In my book, I've got one of these boxes. It's actually an oval, and then another oval over here. I'm going to close this now, and this pretty much is done. Okay, so now we're going to go to save. We want to save this in its native format. In this case, we're using Pages, so it'll be, the native format would be Pages. If you're using Microsoft Word, the native format would be Doc or DocX. If you were using OpenOffice Write, I believe it's DBT or OBT, which, like I said, that would be its native format. That's how you want to save it, so if you need to edit it in the future, you can do that. And we're going to save this. Alright, just save it, and I'll move it later. Actually, what I want to do is save it as book cover tutorial. Save. Alright, now we want to, that's saving it as original pages format, so that if we want to edit it, we can do that. But now we're going to save it in a PDF format, and to do that we got to go into Export, PDF. And we're going to leave the image quality as good. And we're going to save it exactly the same way as it is, but now it's a PDF format. And we're going to tell it to export it. Alright, so now we got to change it to a JPEG, which is a photograph. So in order to do that, we're going to go into Preview, and inside of Preview we're going to open that PDF. We're going to save we're going to export it and change it to a JPEG, and then we're going to reduce the file size by about half. Then we're going to click Save. Same title, different file extension, which is .jpg. Okay, then we're going to close this. We're going to close the Pages one. We're going to lost my preview. Alright, Preview. I'm going to open it back up in Preview as the JPEG version of it. And that's your photograph of it. Now it's a photo because it's been saved as a JPG. Alright? But Kindle has certain requirements in order to get your book cover the way it should display. And what you want to do is you want to, and it's in the book, it'll tell you what size. You'll want to change the size. You'll see that the file is currently 500, or it was 359, now it's 536. We're going to change the size of that to, let's see, 9. That would actually be making it bigger because we're dealing with inches here. We're going to make it smaller, and we're going to change it into pixels, and we're going to change this to 1,000. The width, not 10,000, 1,000. Okay, by changing the pixel down to 1,000 and click, and it'll, if we leave it scaled proportionally, it'll change this one automatically. 300 dots per inch DPI, and this is what the file size will be afterwards. It'll be cut in half. Alright, and that's done. Okay, so we've got the file right there. It's 1,000 pixels. Now, if you wanted to, and you should, from the original, save two or three different sizes of it. I'm going to change this to inches. And when you do it, save it originally from when you convert it to from a PDF to a JPG. And we're going to change this to a 9. And just for purposes of showing you the difference. When you save this file and you're going to go up from a smaller file size, you run the risk of ruining the image by making it blurry. It's better to get a big image and make it smaller than it is to take a small image and try to make it bigger. In this case, it doesn't show badly, but it's just something you should know. Alright, let's see. We're going to view its actual size, and then we're going to zoom it to fit inside the page. And that's what it looks like. There's your book cover tutorial. Hope you learned something from it, and you can make your own book covers now.